How many affairs have there been where somebody's jealousy got so bad that they ended up literally taking the life of somebody else? We've seen the power of jealousy. Think about Shakespeare. One of my favorite Shakespeare tragedies is Othello. And if you've ever read Othello, you know the story about Iago and Desdemona and Othello. And basically, Othello is in love with Desdemona, but he is convinced that she's been having an affair on him when she hasn't been. And as a result, he has both the person who supposedly had an affair and he has her life taken, only to find out after the fact that she never had an affair, and then he went and took his own life in classic Shakespearean tragedy fashion. But jealousy is a powerful emotion that you want to deal with. You want to make sure that you're aware of it. Verse 19, they said to one another, "Here comes this dreamer," right? So they notice him far off. "Come now, let us kill him and throw him into one of the pits. Then we will say that a fierce animal has devoured him, and we will see what becomes of his dreams," right? So in other words, they fear the dream. Now, if you weren't here last week, what's the dream? Joseph has had two dreams, basically, and the dreams are that Joseph is going to be raised up to leadership, and his brothers are going to bow down before him someday. And Joseph went and shared that dream. And can you imagine? "Hey, bros, check it out. I got some great news for you. I'm going to ascend into some really pretty studly power, and you're going to bow down before me." Oh, great. Just what you want to hear, that you're going to have to bow down before a brother that you're already jealous of. And that is going to be the test for them. And they want to get rid of the dreamer. They want to get rid of the dreamer because then that way they hope to get rid of the dream. But, it's not that easy to just trump God's plans. Sometimes we think we can just deal with God's plans and speak them away, but it's not always that easy, is it? And so, let's keep reading together as we see what happens. Verse 21. "But when Reuben heard it, he rescued him out of their hands, saying, 'Let us not take his life.'" Now, Reuben's the firstborn, okay? "And Reuben said to him, 'Shed no blood. Throw him into this pit here in the wilderness, but do not lay a hand on him, that he might rescue him out of their hand to restore him to his father.' So when Joseph came to his brothers, what did they do? They stripped him of his robe, the robe of many colors that he wore." Like, can't you just see? They hate the fact that this robe is colorful. The robe of many colors, right? Dad couldn't just make it with one color. This is a royal robe, perhaps, for the future grandeur of my son. Let's just remove this robe, because that's basically an object of frustration to the brothers, because Dad gave that robe to him. So they're going to remove that robe. And you can see their jealousy at work right now. They're putting him down. They want to eradicate him. They're removing the robe. And so let's keep reading together. Verse 22, or verse 24. "And they took him and they threw him into a pit, and the pit was empty, and there was no water in it." And then notice, then they sat down to eat. Notice the indifference. Like, they just feel justified in what they're doing, and that's one of the problems with jealousy. Jealousy, when it turns irrational jealousy can cause you to even feel justified in the egregious actions that are taken. Because this person wronged me, I feel jealous because this person wronged me. And my feelings, this is this person's fault. And now that I've got rid of this person and the feelings of jealousy are gone, my action must have been right. So what did they do? They take Joseph and they go stick him in a pit, and they sit down to eat. Like, they're not sick about it. It's like their conscience isn't disturbed. It's like they feel no shame. Have you no shame? They're not feeling guilt in the moment. They're just working together in unison. We got to deal with this brother that brings about our jealousy. And so that's what people do. You got somebody in your life that you're jealous of. If you're not a healthy person at the core and you don't know how to work through jealousy, what will you do? Well, you'll try to ruin a person's character through your silence. Like, when you should speak up, you might just stay silent and let something negative sit on someone's personality. Or you'll speak up in order to run that person down. Or you'll start doing things that could limit a person in their life. We have to be careful that we root out any jealousy that can emerge in our life. So they sat down to eat. And it says, and looking up, they saw a caravan of Ishmaelites coming from Gilead with their camels bearing gum, balm, and myrrh on their way to carry it down to Egypt. Then Judah said to his brothers, what profit is it if we kill our brother and conceal his blood? Come, let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother, our own flesh. And his brothers listened to him. Then Midianite traders passed by, and they drew Joseph up and lifted him out of the pit, and they sold him for 20 pieces of silver, and they took him to Egypt. Imagine that. Can you just envision the scene? There's the brothers. They're hanging out with the Ishmaelites, and they're looking down at Joseph, and like, yeah, just give us 20 shekels, dude. That's cool. Yeah, let's bring him up. Hey, Joe, take it easy, man. We'll see you, bro. We're gonna kill a goat here. We're going to put blood on it. We're going to tell Dad you're dead. Later, bro, we'll see you. And then off they go. And then you can just picture Joseph like, "Ah!" right? Like screaming, crying, panicking, like, spare me, save me, do something. But nothing. Nope, he's just off to Egypt, right? And that's the treatment that he gets. Now, that would be really tough, wouldn't it? Well, when you think about some sibling rivalry that you've had in your life, I'm guessing it hasn't led to this kind of tension in your life. You know, like how would you feel if one of your children sold one of your other children off into slavery? Like there's a lot going on here. And so let's keep reading. Verse 29. When Reuben returned to the pit and saw that Joseph was not in the pit, he tore his clothes. And he returned to his brothers and said, the boy is gone, and where shall I go? Then they took Joseph's robe and slaughtered a goat and dipped the robe in the blood. And they sent the robe of many colors and brought it to their father and said, this we have found. Please identify whether it is your son's robe or not. Not our brother, your son's robe or not, right? No connection here. And so they're removing themselves. And he identified it and said, it is my son's robe. A fierce animal has devoured him. Joseph is without doubt torn to pieces. Then Jacob tore his garments and put on sackcloth. And he's mourning, right? And so then he's going down to Egypt. That is Joseph. Think about how treacherous this is. All these brothers are in total unison, and they go and they kill a goat, and now they're going to deceive their father with goat hair. Here's what's interesting. How did their father Jacob deceive his father Isaac? With goat hair on the hands when he went in to deceive him. And now what goes around comes around, and now all of a sudden the very one that would betray and deceive his own father Isaac by putting hair on so that he wouldn't be able to recognize that it was not Esau, is now the one who is going to be basically deceived with goat hair. And now the brothers, they're so intent on basically working in unison to get rid of their brother that they literally tell this lie to their dad. And they allow their dad to weep as if their son is no more. His son is no more. That's how dark jealousy can get. Like, jealousy can be so powerful that all you can think about is getting rid of the object of your jealousy, even if doing so crushes the heart of a father. And you know the problem with deceit? Deceit is giving people a false narrative of reality. And if God is truth, telling lies and using deceit is giving people a false picture of the world. And that is what's so toxic about it. It lets people think that something is real that isn't real. And that is the toxicity of it all.